Hey there, welcome back to Total Geek Live Baltimore Presents. I am Baltimore, and today I am bringing you Infinity Countdown, Infinity Wars, and Infinity Warps. Yes, the crossover that lasted almost the entirety of 2018. I'm bringing that to you so you don't have to. So basically, this spins out of Guardians 150, Guardians of the Galaxy 150. And it's basically three kind of crossovers, um, events, miniseries, um, that lasted the entire year. And Infinity Countdown was a 5 issue miniseries that had a lot of one shots. It had a Black Widow one shot, Adam Warlock, Daredevil, Captain Marvel. It had 4 issues of a Dark Hawk, and then 2 issues of Champions. So it's kind of interesting because the characters involved, when you think of Infinity Stones, gems, whatever you want to call them, you don't really think about Daredevil. You don't really think about Black Widow or the Champions really being involved in it. So it's kind of neat to see these characters and get a new kind of taste for the Infinity Stones, gems, in this world. So basically, after the end of Secret Wars, the Infinity Stones are destroyed, but of course you cannot, destroy them all forever. So basically, they're reformed, and this is what happens. This is the story that happens, getting them back into shape. So we have the Infinity Gems, and they're reborn. You have the Mind Gem possessed by Turk, who is a low-level, villain from Daredevil. You have a giant-sized Power Stone that's in a planet that the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Nova Corps are protecting. You have the Space Stone, which is sort of with Wolverine, right? Wait, but Wolverine died, right? Well, surprise. And then you have Captain Marvel finding the Reality Stone gem in an adjacent reality. That's kind of interesting. And the Time Gem has restored Sakaar, which is where Planet Hulk took place. And the Super Skrull had found that. And he wanted to restore the Skrull Empire. So that's basically the whole kind of premise of it. We have Black Widow coming into it. We have Captain Marvel, Daredevil, Adam Warlock, who is basically the keeper of all the Infinity Stones, and he's really trying to figure out what's going on. He's really being involved in this. And so Loki has figured out that these stones are missing, and he wants to, stop it. And so he goes to the gardener in the God Quarry, and he basically infects him with a poison. And what happens, this is in the past, and then when the catches up with everything in the present, it turns out that the reason why Groot was only speaking "I am Groot" is because he didn't have all of the pieces. So way back when the gardener was poisoned, that's where part of Groot was. So when they finally came together, Groot was healed, and he no longer had to speak in third person. He could actually speak full sentences, could restore himself to full size. So that was kind of a cool little development that happens out of it. So the reason why this kind of starts is you have Pemtron, who is the merged version of Ultron and Hank Pym. Interesting. He wants to, of course, find the Soul Stone and stop all this, craziness and take over the world universe. And he infects Silver Surfer with his Ultron programming, and Adam Warlock comes to find him and fight him. And you have Kang, you have Drax, you have Gamora, all off trying to figure out what's going on and save the day. And so what ends up happening is Drax leaves, goes away. Gamora also finds a way to, slink off to the sideline, so to speak. And you have Adam Warlock really trying to find the Soul Stone. Doctor Strange at this point gets his hands on the Time Stone from the Super Skrull, so he has control of that, and that's where Adam Warlock comes to find him. So that's basically Infinity Countdown. So it's the countdown to Infinity Wars. Yes, timely because Didn't Avengers Infinity War come out around that time? Yes, it did. So there you go with these, corporate synergy things. So this one was a lot more dynamic and interesting because you have a mysterious villain called Requiem, a female villain who is off to, you know, take over the stones and reshape the world in her image in the way she wants to do. And in the first issue, you find her uh, up against Thanos. They fight. She stabs him because she has the Power Stone and kills him. And he looks back and he's about to do something, and then she slices his head off, decapitates Thanos, dead. And you're like, oh my god. Yeah, pretty serious stuff. And then we find out who is Requiem, because that's a big mystery going around. And it turns out Requiem is actually Gamora. She has been, driven out to the deep end. She's kind of like gone crazy and decided that she has to kill Thanos, and she's going to take the stones and remake the world, save it. And so this was kind of interesting because it's, let's see, we have 6 issues of this. We have an Infinity, we have a Prime, we have a Fallen Guardian one shot. Then you have a Sleepwalker, which is interesting that they chose him for a 4-issue mini for this, which is kind of cool. So that's basically Infinity Wars. And you have them going in, and basically right in the middle, there's a big thing that happens. I'll get into a second. But the Guardians and the humans are going to team up, and they're going to figure out what's going on. They have to figure out what we're going to do with the Infinity Gems. And so Adam Warlock, Doctor Strange, they all go to the Soul Stone, Soul World, and realize that Kang's after it. Kang's not a very good guy, and Thanos is after it. That's not very good. So they're going to have to really do whatever they can to protect the stones and keep them out of their reach. So they go to Earth and they find Star-Lord. They find some of the other people who have it, like Turk, Black Widow, all the other humans that are involved in this, and they are trying to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to save this, and then Requiem shows up, and then she reveals herself to be Gamora, and Star-Lord's like, oh, let me take care of this. I'll be able to protect her. It'll be fine. And not quite, because she kills him. Except that Doctor Strange used the Time Stone to pause it, rewind it, and save him. So, whoo, thank goodness. But we have, Drax going back into the Soul World, and he's split into 2, his Arthur Douglas human self and the Drax self. And, his storyline is percolating in the background there. And then Requiem, Gamora, is beholden to Devonda in the Soul World, and they are basically, she's manipulating her, and Gamora is going along with it as Requiem to kind of appease. And in the middle of it, she has her idea that she's going to save the world by cutting everything in half. It's kind of like what Thanos does, like half the universe population gone. Well, she just merges, so everything is combined. So you get the Infinity Warps, and that was kind of like the break between Infinity Wars, the first part of it, and the end of it. So it's kind of interesting and pretty cool. You have quite a few titles coming out of this. You have the merged heroes, the warped heroes. You have Thor and Iron Man, which makes Iron Hammer. You have Doctor Strange and Captain America, which is the Soldier Supreme. You have Scarlet Witch and X-23, which is Weapon Hex. You have Ghost Rider and Black Panther forming Ghost Panther. You have Moon Knight and Spidey becoming Arachnite. So pretty cool. They each had their own 2-issue miniseries, which is kind of neat to see them develop. So they're in the Warp World, which has a subworld that Gamora had created to kind of take over and rule. And then you have Diamond Patch, which is basically, surprise, Emma Frost and Logan combined. And they're the ones who are able to save the day and kind of reverse all the damage that Gamora had done. bringing them back into the Infinity Wars issues. And so at the end of the day, the question is, how do you save the world? How do you save these warped characters? They end up living their own lives, and the only way to save it is Drax saves the warp world and the real world by each the separate personalities saving them and sacrificing himself so he can live with his wife and daughter, which is kind of his only wish that he's ever had. He wanted to kill Thanos so he could be with his wife and daughter. So it's a very fitting end to Drax. Sadly, it is. He's the fallen guardian. But it's actually really, really cool because then there's a lot more that this sets up, obviously, because each thing rolls on to another. So we have the end of Infinity Wars. You're going to have a brand new Guardians of the Galaxy, which is kind of cool. And then Gamora finds, Cocoon, which is a younger Magus. And the Magus is the future older version, evil, of Adam Warlock. So she was sent away by Adam to atone for her sins and misdeeds, and then she ends up finding the Magus. So that's going to be, an interesting wrinkle that will further happen. But overall, this was an interesting series. I didn't super love it. It felt a little corporate-y, but in a way that was still comic enough to work for me. And I love the interplay of characters that you don't normally see, you wouldn't really think about. And the warped character is actually really fun and inventive, and it's like, all right, just play, just go, just let your imagination go and do it. So that's really cool, and I wonder if they won't show up sooner or later in the Marvel Universe. But let me know what you think about Infinity Countdown, Infinity Wars, Infinity Warps. Which one was your favorite? Who was your favorite warped character? I need to know that for sure. But let me know in the comments below. So like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I will be back with more Marvel goodness for you. And all geek to us. See you later.